Welcome back. This is the 16th segment in the series Because It's True, making the case for Christianity in bite-sized pieces. Now, in the last segment, I suggested to you an apologetic model, which I also rather crudely diagrammed so that it looks something like that. Now, you'll notice a couple of things about this diagram of this model. First of all, it is skeletal, and we're going to begin to add some meat to this skeleton in this segment. Secondly, it is progressive, moving from left to right, in that I do think that there are some building blocks, and there's a building block approach that we can take to organizing our thoughts as we prepare to be able to make a defense concerning the credibility of the Christian faith. Now, you also noticed that the first prong on this diagram is labeled philosophical. Now, by that, what I mean is, what might we reasonably expect an individual to conclude concerning the existence of God if that individual takes the time to think and ponder that which is easily accessible and observable in the world around him? So, let's start with what is known as the argument from design, or the teleological argument, which was put forth by Thomas Aquinas as part of his cosmological argument. Now, simply put, this says that the intricacies of the universe as a whole, and then all of its intricate parts, function together like a finely tuned machine, and that to think that such a design does not have behind it a designer is akin to me saying that my automobile does not have behind it a designer, a builder, an engineer. Now, there are a number of examples that we could explore to demonstrate this argument, but I think the best one that demonstrates it is what is known as the finely tuned argument. And here's the case. Astrophysicists tell us that there were some 122 variables that had to be lined up just so in order for the universe to even come into existence. Not to mention the variables that are required to sustain life on Earth. Now, those variables, the one necessary for human life or animal life or any life on Earth, are known as anthropic constants. And let me just share 6 of those with you. Number 1, on Earth, oxygen comprises 21% of the atmosphere. Now, that precise figure is an anthropic constant that makes life on Earth possible. If oxygen were 25%, fires would erupt spontaneously And if it were 15%, human beings would suffocate. Number 2, if the carbon dioxide level were higher than it is now, a runaway greenhouse effect would develop and we would all burn up. If the level were lower than it is now, plants would not be able to maintain efficient photosynthesis and we would all suffocate. Number 3, if the centrifugal force of planetary movements did not precisely balance the gravitational forces, nothing could be held in orbit around the sun. Number 4, if water levels in the atmosphere were greater than they are now, a runaway greenhouse effect would cause temperatures to rise too high for human life. If they were less, an insufficient greenhouse effect would make the Earth too cold to support human life. Number 5, if Jupiter were not in its current orbit, the Earth would be bombarded with space material. Jupiter's gravitational field acts like a cosmic vacuum cleaner, attracting asteroids and comets that might otherwise strike the Earth. And finally, number 6, the 23% axial tilt of the Earth is just right. If the tilt were altered slightly, surface temperatures would be too extreme for life on Earth. So, all of these and many more confirm, you ready for this? What the Bible teaches. In Romans 1:20, where it says, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." The argument from design says that strong evidence is there that there is in fact a designer, and we can discern some things about him. For example, God is immeasurably powerful. He is off the scales creative. He is all strikingly precise. He is the great designer.